All right, systems of equations. What are we looking at here? You see that y is equal to 3x. That means we can take that entire 3x and put it anywhere you see the letter y in the whole problem. What do we get then? We write x plus, that doesn't change, but then instead of y, we're going to see 3x. And did we change the equals 16? No, that'll stay the same right there. What does this do for us? How does it help us? We imagine our 1x plus 3x, and we think, hey, we know how to do that. That's going to make 4x is equal to 16. And then we divide both sides by 4, and we get x is equal to 4. There's one of our answers, but we notice there's two equations and two variables, so how many answers is the problem going to have? 2. How do we find our second answer? You're going to take that x equals 4, and you can take that 4 and put it anywhere in the whole problem that you saw in x. How about the very first equation? We're going to change that y is equal to 3x to instead y is equal to 3 times 4. That's what substitution means, right? Anywhere you see an x, you can now see a 4. And we know how to do 3 times 4. That's a 12. So there's our two answers. How do we write our answers for systems of equations? We write them in an ordered pair. We think back, and we think anytime you have a pair of numbers, we write the x first and then the y. So what's our answer going to look like? 4, 12. Let's do it again. Next problem. Now we're going to skip around here a little bit because you can't spend all day listening to this video. We'll just do a couple examples and see what we got. Next, we take a look at this problem. We notice only one equation is solved for a variable. Which one? How about the second one right here? We see x is alone on the left side of the equation. That means we can take whatever x is equal to here, in this case 3y plus 1, and where are we going to replace it? Anywhere we see an x, right there next to our 2. A little tougher here, bigger problem. What's going to look like here? You have 2, and here's where my x is going to go, so I'm going to use parentheses, and now we will see 3y plus 1. Close my parentheses. Remember, we're just rewriting the first equation here, so did I change that minus 3y? Nope, that stays the same. How about that 29? Nope, still right there. So we've got a tougher equation to solve here, but nothing we can't handle. What are we going to do with that 2? Nobody forgot distribute, right? We're going to distribute that 2 through the parentheses. We will get 6y plus 2 minus 3y is equal to 29. What do we do now? It's a classic equation. We draw our line. We look at the left-hand side up here and we think to ourselves, what matches? What goes together? What are my like terms? How about that 6y minus 3y? 6 minus 3, that just leaves 3y. And then we'll have plus 2, we didn't do anything to that, and is equal to 29. Okay, it's a classic two-step equation, our favorite thing. We're going to go minus 2 to both sides. We'll be left with 3y is equal to 27. And then we divide both sides by 3. We've got our answer of 9. Y is equal to 9. So what are we going to do with that y is equal to 9? Well, that means you can take that 9 and put it anywhere that you see the letter y. So you have options here. You have two equations, but there's usually one that's a little easier to work with. How about we take this one that's already solved for x? Let me rewrite it over here. The second equation, I'm just going to redraw it. X is equal to 3y plus 1. So what are we going to do with that y is equal to 9? We're going to put it right there where we see the letter y. So what's this going to turn into? This is going to turn into x is equal to 3 times x. Well, no, we never, sorry, to y. No, we know what the y is now. That's a 9 plus 1. So to find our second answer, all we got to do is go 3 times 9 and then add 1. No problem. 3 times 9 is 27 plus 1. We got x is equal to 28. There's our second answer. We always write our answers in ordered pairs. That means we're going to write 28, comma, 9. There's my solution right there. A little tougher that time, bigger equation, but hey, that's why we spent all first semester practicing it. So we're ready for it when we see it. Let's do it again. What do we notice here? There are no equations solved for a variable. Is the x alone anywhere in these two problems? No. Is the y alone anywhere? No. So you got to pick a variable and do a little algebra magic to transform one equation so it's solved for a variable. Now usually there's one best letter to pick here. It's the letter that's already by itself. We don't want a 3x, we want a 2y or a negative y. How about we pick that plain old x right there? So what are we going to do with this equation? We're going to take it and we're going to come over here and think to ourselves, okay, x minus y is equal to 4. So if I want to isolate the x, all I got to do is add y to both sides. And I get a brand new equation. X is equal to y plus 4. Why does this help me? Because now I've got x all alone. That means we can do some substitution. We can take this entire y plus 4 right here and put it anywhere that we saw in x. How about right there for 3x? What does that mean? I'm going to rewrite this whole equation. It's going to be 3 parentheses. I don't see x anymore. I see y plus 4. But nothing else changes. You've still got minus 2y equal to 10. This equation should make you feel much better because we see one big long equation, but it's only got one variable, the letter y. That means if you got one equation and one variable, you can solve it. Let's do some distribute here. Let's take this 3 and multiply it through our parentheses. We get 3y plus 12 minus 2y is equal to 10. We see a whole bunch of stuff over here on the left-hand side, but something always matches if there's more than two terms. 3y matches with negative 2y. We're allowed to add those up, or in this case, subtract them. 3y minus 2y is just 1y, also known as just the letter y. But did I do anything with that 12? No, we keep 12 plus 12 equal to 10. One little algebra step left, minus 12 to both sides. We get y is equal to negative 2. Rewrite that here. Y is equal to negative 2. All right. One answer down, but you know if you've got two equations, there's going to be two answers. So what are we going to take this negative 2? We're going to take it right back up here and replace it for y. So we see x is equal to y plus 4, but instead of y, we're going to now see a negative 2 plus 4. Negative 4 plus 2 is 2. There's our second answer. There's 1. Here's our other answer down here. Y is equal to negative 2. So what's our answer going to look like? An ordered pair. We write 2 first. That's our x number. And then we write negative 2. There's my solution.